Hello friends, it's Amy from the Stamp Market. I'm here today to share with you a couple projects using our new ink blending brushes. And if you haven't used these brushes before, you're going to love them. We actually tested quite a few different bristles to make sure we were happy with what we have to offer. You can order these in a 3-pack, just like shown, or you can order them in each size. We have a large, we have a medium, and we have a small. The projects I'm doing today, we actually are just going to use the large and the medium brushes. We're starting with the thank you card, where we have just some fun strips of blended color to create a background. And start by cutting your 8.5 by 11 sheet of cardstock in half, and then fold it in half again and give it a nice crease. Then go ahead and cut a card, just cut some little strips to cover the front of your card. And as I was doing this, I realized that they needed to be longer. So actually cut the lengthwise of your cardstock. You'll need another sheet. And then you'll need to create long strips that fit diagonally across the front of the card. And then you'll want to cut a few tiny strips based on how they lay out on the card. So as you can see, the different sizes. Today, to get started, I'm actually using the Distress Oxide inks, which blend beautifully. You want to start by really working that ink into your bristles, and then when you apply it to the paper, you want to work in a circular motion. And I always keep a damp microfiber cloth on hand just to simply brush off some of that excess color before I jump into a new color. And then you're just going to work in large circular motions through all the colors. And I'm not over blending on this paper because I actually want a little bit of that variation. Depending on the project, you'll want to blend more. As you can see, just working quickly through all the strips. There's also another way you could achieve the same look on this card without all the strips of paper. You could tape off using your masking tape and just blend strips of color directly onto the front of the cardstock. I really like the added dimension of the cut strips of cardstock on the front of the card, so I decided to go ahead with that approach. And we'll be finishing up the blending here, as you can see, just working again in large circular motions, even when you get to the smaller strips. To finish up the card, you're going to take your folded cardstock and you're going to just start taping down on a diagonal each color of cardstock. Now what you want to do is leave a small gap in between each strip just for that added weight and that extra texture. The best way to trim these is just turn your card upside down and use the back of the card as a guide. Run your scissors along each edge, careful not to cut the actual card, and that will finish off your card nicely. And when you turn it over, you'll see that you have these perfectly cut strips of blended colors, and that creates our background. Then you're going to take the thank you from our handwritten thanks stamp set. You're going to Versa mark that up, and then you're going to go ahead, and I just purchased this amazing embossing powder. It is the Gold Sparkle Metallic. I love this stuff. I have never used it before, and I highly recommend it. Sometimes it's hard in these videos for you to see the sheen that is achieved, but it is not just like your typical gold. It actually has some little flecks of glitter in the gold embossing, and I just love it, and we'll be using this a lot. And then go ahead, and we have a coordinating die. Tape that down, and through the magic of video, that is die cut through the die cut machine. You're going to pop that out. Now you have a beautiful thank you to accent those lovely blended strips of color on the front of your card. I always adhere my greetings down with a little dimension. I love the 3M tape, couldn't live without it. And if you don't have any, definitely pick up some. You don't have to buy large rolls. If you want to just try out a small roll, they're available on Amazon. Very inexpensive. Go ahead and place that in the center of your card. And then to finish this off, I felt like it needed a little bit more, so I went ahead and added some small gold sequins. And I love using this Tombow glue. That detail tip allows you to add the tiniest embellishments without making a mess with all that glue. And there you have a finished card that really doesn't take very long and minimal supplies. Quick and easy. pop that in the mail and make someone's day. The next card we're making today is our Hey card using our plaid stencil. I made this card a while ago and I've had many requests to show you how to do this. You're simply going to cut a card front and tape down the stencil over the top of that card. I always place a piece of paper behind because you will be making a mess. And then I have the Distress Oxide inks again, and this time I'm using a medium-sized brush because the area, I want to control the area that I'm applying the ink to a little bit more. And then you're just going to start spectrum order, and you want to blend into each color as you move along. So don't be afraid to blend into each other. You want the yellow to blend into the orange and the orange into the pink. And then I simply add the color, and I found as I was doing this, the yellow wasn't quite the yellow that I love, so I took the green and blended into that yellow a little bit more to get more of a citrine color. I tend to like a little bit more of a greeny yellow. I feel like it blends and looks nicer with the other colors. And then I bring in a brighter green. Don't forget when blending your colors to work in a circular motion. You'll achieve the best results by doing this, and it'll allow you to create a nicer transition between each color. To finish this off, I actually didn't have the right color in the oxide ink, so I actually had a little Alt New cube, and this is a different type of ink, but it still works just as well and it's beautiful. But you do have to work that ink into those bristles a little bit more. So don't be afraid to really work that into your brush. Now, the best part is when you reveal what's underneath that stencil. That contrast is just so fun and is such a great and simple way to make a card. So to finish that off, go ahead and fold your 5.5 by 8.25 cardstock in half. And then I usually trim off a 1/16 of an inch off each side. And the reason for this is I just love that little tiny white border and how it does tie in to the rest of the card and also creates a little extra dimension. Then we're going to add a greeting by using our Hey die, which comes with the shadow and the detail. Now I've run that through the die cut machine, and then you have the shadow outline, and then you also have the detail Hey. And I actually love to just layer this white on white. It creates a fun little extra dimension and pops that a little bit more. Go ahead and adhere that down. I love using the Tombow tape runner. Then adhere that using the foam tape. And to finish the card off, add some stickles for a little extra of sparkle. Thank you for joining me today as we explore the use of blending brushes. I hope you leave feeling inspired.